Okay, here we go. So this is part number 12, and this is the bolt, okay? There's a couple things that you need to make sure that you ensure you do as you make this bolt, and I'm just going to break it down into pieces once again, starting with the hexagon, so the six-sided polygon. And you can see that the six-sided polygon from point to point is 1/4 of an inch or 0.25 inches, okay? And then it gets extruded 0.05, 0.05, not 0.5, 0.05. So back over in Inventor, I'm going to go ahead, make my next part, and click on Start 2D Sketch. Now, this is a part where you kind of need to pay attention to your work planes, otherwise your thread tool will not work in the future. And so I'm going to essentially build this bolt from the top down, so starting with the hexagon and working my way down. And so I'm going to use the XZ plane, and I'm going to draw my polygon. And remember, it's from point to point, so I drew my polygon. It's six-sided, and I'm going to dimension it from point to point. What did it say? 0.25 inches, extrude 0.05 inches. Okay, so 0.25 inches, and it made it significantly smaller. I'm going to finish my sketch and extrude that 0.05 inches. So you want to make sure that you get that right. All right. Next step, if you use your view cube, you can see that this is the top. I want to draw the next section of this. So starting here, I want to draw it down. So I'm going to draw on the bottom side of this hexagon. And the circle that's going on here is 0.13 inches in diameter. So I'm going to come back over to Inventor, making sure that I'm drawing on the bottom of this. So this view cube right here says bottom, so I'm drawing on the bottom of it, not the top, the bottom. Start 2D Sketch, and I'm going to draw on the bottom of this a circle that's 0.13 inches in diameter. Okay, so I'm going to finish my sketch and go ahead and extrude this, and so you can see that's starting to kind of look like a bolt. And so the extrusion of this is going to be 0.30 minus 0.05. So 0.30 minus 0.05, so that's going to work out to be 0.25. Side note, Inventor will do math for you, so if I type in 0.3 minus 0.05, that's a math problem that this can do. Okay, so it's really, really helpful to know that Inventor can do math for you. It'll do multiplication, division, square root, all of that as you type into the boxes. So I'm going to go ahead and say OK, and so it's made the length of this 0.25 inches long. And so that looks good. The next step is going to be the thread. The thread on this, the length of the thread is 0.12 inches, and the type of thread is 0.06. So I need to keep that in mind as I come back over to my bolts. And if you look under the modify group, there's a button that says thread. And so I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to click on where I want the thread to go. Okay, so obviously I want it to go here. I don't want it to go on this. I want it to go on the actual bolts. And I need to uncheck full length. It's not going to be an inch long, it's going to be 0.12 inches. So you can see now that that looks like that. Then I have a specification. This is where I add in the 0.06, I believe. Yes, 0.06 thread. So I'm going to go and find that. So 0.06 is right here. It's the number 0. It's listed as number 0, so 0.06 thread, and then I hit apply. And you can see that it made a much more fine thread. Let's see, I have an error. Inappropriate thread size. It's unhappy because the thread. So what I've essentially done is I've made a bolt that doesn't actually exist in real life. That's fine, it doesn't matter. This is just for practice. Okay, so now I have my threaded bolt. There's one more step left with this, and you can see that it says a 0.025 chamfer. If you make it a 0.25 chamfer, it will not work. It needs to be 0.025. So my chamfer is this cut right here, and so that makes it easier to thread the bolt into a hole. So the next tool, so up here next to thread is chamfer, and I need to choose what the chamfer is going to be. So remember it's 0.025 inches, and then I need to select where I'm chamfering. So where am I going to cut this? So I want to cut it down here at the bottom, and you can see that it's gone ahead and made that cut. So I'll hit apply, and I can see now I have my bolt in all of its glory. It is completed, and so this is part number 12. So go ahead and save it as part number 12.